me, no time to talk. Music loud and women warm. I've been kicked around since I was born. Now it's alright and it's okay, and you may look the other way, but we can't try to understand the New York Times effect on me. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Through the city breaking and everybody shaking, people staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive.
Oh, this is the night. It's a beautiful night, and we call it a Bella Notte.
Welcome, my fellow collie freaks and mutt maniacs alike, to Golden Ticket Reviews, where if it's classic or crap, you see through it, I review it. I'm your main maitre d' and massive Brian Hull fan, Brandon the Bambi Man, a guy who may or may not be wearing socks. No, I'm not telling you. Several of you probably know that I kicked off this crazy little web series by reviewing the 2001 direct-to-video sequel, Lady and the Tramp 2: Scamp's Adventure. Needless to say, I had a lot of fun putting that review together, and it was a wonderful intro to what would eventually become Golden Ticket Reviews. Of course, it also helped that Scamp's Adventure was a pretty entertaining movie in its own right.
You wanna be a little house doggy?
That is still classic. Of course, after doing that review, one thought entered the back of my wild, non-canine mind. That thought being, naturally, that I should look over this film's predecessor, which just so happens to be one of the most classic animated romance movies about talking dogs. Next to Roadside Romeo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is high flipping time that we take a look at Lady and the Tramp. Released in 1955, Lady and the Tramp is a story about a mangy mutt from the opposite side of the tracks and an uptown pooch who meet and slowly but surely form a strong bond that brings them together. Only for them to be broken apart and then get back together again. Also Peggy Lee Dog. This is going to be interesting to say the least, as I've never really done a full review of an all-around Disney classic before. That kind of doesn't count. That's totally different. Okay, so this will be my first review of a Disney classic released during a time when Walt was still alive. Those were simpler days, I assume. And considering there's a remake of this film coming out soon, believe it or not, I guess it only makes sense for us to look over the original movie and see if there's anything worth improving upon. So put on your Sunday clothes and get ready to see if this doggy darling of a movie is still a good one. This is my review of the original Lady and the Tramp. The film begins on Christmas Day of 1909 in a nameless town, where a guy who the movie refers to as Jim Dear is about to give his wife, called Darling, a lovely little gift, a Cocker Spaniel pup, who she names Lady. Later that night, Lady is put to bed by Jim Dear, who is firm on getting sleep tonight despite the small doggy's howling.
Lady, quiet now. You hear me? Back to bed.
Or you won't get any puppy snaps tomorrow. He eventually lets her sleep in their bed, and through the power of flash forward, we see Lady is now full grown and ready for all kinds of animal action. Burying bones, chasing rats, and fetching the paper. She's also received her own collar and license, which really impresses her canine buddies Jock, the Scottish Terrier, and Trusty, the humble bloodhound.
Why, Miss Lady, you have a collar.
Mm-hmm. And a license.
My.
I like him. And Jock's quite fun too. We then meet one of our other main characters of the film, Tramp, who's just waking up and doing his good old morning stretch routine. I really love this guy. He's got a very positive attitude, a debonair voice, and he's also quite good with puppies.
Cute little rascals. Goo.
Man, it's no wonder he gets all the ladies. He's like a walking, talking teddy bear. Or teddy dog, I should say. After picking up some breakfast, Tramp frees some of his stray friends from a dog catcher who chases him in the lady's neighborhood, where he takes notice of its rather bizarre nature.
I'll bet they've got a lid on every trash can. Uh-oh. And a fence around every tree.
Well, hey, maybe they're just trying to protect the trees from rogue squirrels.
Squirrel!
Meanwhile, at the not little house, Jock and Trusty find Lady, who is looking down in the dumps, much like the Walk the Moon song, because Jim Dear and Darling have been acting strange lately. Through some info from Miss Lady, the two surmise that her owners are about to have a baby. This catches the ear of Sir Street Smart, who wanders in attempting to convince Lady how much trouble she's going to be in when the baby arrives, leading to easily one of my favorite comedic moments in the film.
You get the urge for a nice, comfortable scratch and put that dog out. He'll get fleas all over the baby. You start barking at some strange mutt. Stop that racket, you'll wake the baby.
I'm sorry. I've seen this film numerous times, and yet that still gets me. It sounds like he's channeling Eddie Izzard's boxer voice.
You have a very high voice for a boxer. Yes, I do. I have a very deep voice for a girl.
Tramp is shooed off from the property, and sure enough, the baby arrives as things seem to be fairly normal. However, soon the Darling Dear couple leave for a couple days, putting Aunt Sarah in charge, who is about as kind-hearted as my tennis shoes on a rainy day. Not surprising, considering that she's played by Wilma's mother from the Flintstones. Seriously. She also has a couple of Siamese cats who really enjoy causing mischief for some reason. They also sing this song, which sounds a bit culturally insensitive, although I much prefer the more amped-up Duff Sister version from Disney Mania 2. They mess up the house, and Lady gets blamed for it, getting a muzzle placed on her as punishment. Aunt Sarah is a cold-hearted snake. Lady runs off, getting chased by a band of street mutts, and luckily Tramp comes to her rescue, somehow not getting a scratch on him in the process. He takes notice of her entrapped maw and tries to help her get free via the most logical location. A zoo! Of course, clever canine.
Apes? No. No use even asking them. They wouldn't understand.
They wouldn't?
Too closely related to humans.
Well, when trying to have an alligator pull the thing off doesn't work, how very surprising, they go elsewhere after almost getting crushed by a tree. Turns out a very humble beaver chopped the ant bark down. Yes, I'm still using that phrase. And Tramp uses his best Phil Swift skills to get the beaver to take the muzzle off, pretending it's a log puller.
Modeled by the lovely little lady, the new, improved, patented, handy-dandy, never-fail little giant log puller. Guaranteed not to wear, tear, rip, or ravel. Turn around, sister, and show the customer the merchandise. And it cuts log hauling time 66%.
And with salesmanship skills this good, I almost feel bad for picking on the realtor wolf from Dino Digs.
Yes, almost, but you really shouldn't, Bambi Man. With Tramp acting like he's a salesman in this scene, it makes sense because we, as the audience, know he's acting, and that he's only doing this as a way to get Lady freed from her muzzlement. In Dino Digs, the realtor wolf behaved like a human real estate agent for no clear reason other than that maybe the writers thought that it would be funny to have a feral wolf spouting nonsense like organic being the new natural and sales talk and other such bullcrap. Not to mention, Tramp still has far more charisma than Little Miss, "You're here to leave bird droppings on my sidewalk!"
Ain't that the truth? Man, aren't you glad that series is finally over?
Mercifully, yes.
Oh, so glad. I'm still kind of hoping for that Garth and Lily movie, though.
Oh, Garth and Lily. They deserve so much better than they got.
Agreed.
So after the sanest segment of Tool Time I've ever seen, Tramp shows Lady his quote-unquote many homes while impersonating the people inside said homes.
Monday home.
Ach, ja. Mondays is Mama Jules cooking der Wiener Schnitzel. Comes of a Tuesday.
Of a Tuesday?
Be good, and that's when they're after having that darling corned beef.
Because nothing is quite romantic as a man who can do voices.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've never tried it. Then again, I've never really been on a date before.
Really? Yeah, you definitely need a girlfriend.
Believe me, I know. Dude, I knew. Anyway, back to the movie. Tramp then decides to bring Lady to his favorite eatery called Tony's, so the two of them can have a lovely spaghetti dinner underneath the night sky, complete with music straight from the owner and the head chef. Man, dogs have all the luck when it comes to restaurant treatment. They get dinner and a concert, and I just get judgmental looks for not going with the ravioli platter. What follows is one of the most recognizable dinner scenes in film history, and it is absolutely beautiful. From the two doggies accidentally kissing each other, to Tramp rolling a meatball over to Lady's eyes sparkling in the moonlight. Just how many ahs do you think filled the studio when that one sequence alone with Lady's eyes sparkling was shown? And all of it set to that gorgeous number Bella Notte. It's pure animated perfection at its finest. Unfortunately, the morning soon arrives as Lady realizes she has to go home at some point. Tramp reluctantly agrees to walk her home, but not before he decides to introduce her to the wonderful world of chicken chasing. Now, you might call this a bit rambunctious, but personally, I think it's very noble of Tramp to keep these feathered fowls in tip-top shape. That dog is a poultry saint! Of course, the owner of said chickens doesn't take as kindly to Tramp's actions as he attempts to shoot down the two canine canoodlers. Tramp and Lady escape, but unfortunately the dog catcher finds Lady and escorts her to one of the saddest dog pounds committed to film. Pound puppies eat your heart out. Lady, once she arrives at the pound, gets to know her animal inmates, while also learning that Tramp is a bit of a player in the canine community of this town, but some believe he's going to find that special someone someday. Please, next you'll be telling me that Star-Lord played the field a lot before he met Gamora. Too soon? This leads into one of the Dame dogs named Peg, played by Peggy Lee, subtle Disney, singing a song about the Tramp and just what a dog he is. It is awesome to say the least. I especially love the backup vocals from the other dogs. It sounds like heaven to my ears. After that jazzy number, Lady has been taken back home and is chained up, not to the rhythm, but to her doghouse. Jock and Trusty attempt to invite Miss Lady to either of their homes, but as if on cue, Tramp arrives with a prop from the set of the Scooby-Doo pilot as he tries to apologize for Lady's bad evening at the pound.
Embarrassed and frightened.
Oh, no. Who could ever harm a cute little trick like you?
Sweet Huckleberry Hound on a pogo stick, Tramp. Of all the ways you could have put that, you called her a trick? Could you not have just referred to her as something like, I don't know, Cutie or Daisy or Fluffy Schnookums, anything else besides trick? Heck, even Angel probably would have worked better. Oh, ha ha, very funny. Lady confronts Tramp on his many girlfriends and tells him to get stuffed. However, the rat we saw earlier, who I like to think as an animal minion of Chernabog, makes his way into the house to seemingly hurt the baby. Aunt Sarah, not seeing the rodent, stupidly tells Lady to calm down. But Tramp hears Lady's barking and comes to the rescue, fighting off the rat in a scene that's rather epic, if I do say so myself. Lady frees herself, and Tramp manages to kill the rat, but Aunt Sarah thinks the two were the ones trying to attack the infant. As such, she calls animal control to escort Tramp away and locks Lady in a closet. Have I mentioned that I hate Aunt Sarah yet? Darling and Dear arrive home, and it's soon revealed that the two dogs were actually, gasp, trying to save the baby. Who knew? Learning this, Jock and Trusty rush to the pound wagon before it takes Tramp away, and Trusty gets himself injured. Luckily, though, he's still around for Christmas, with a bum leg, but he's still alive and well. Also, Tramp and Lady now have pups of their own. Boy, that spaghetti must have been really flippin' good. Well, that's Lady and the Tramp. What else can I say? It's an all-around animated classic. The characters, aside from Aunt Sarah, are fun to watch. The story is well-paced, the voice acting is spot-on across the board, the animation is excellent, both in the character designs and the backgrounds. Boy, these are beautiful to look at. It has many funny moments, sweet moments, and moments that make you say, where's the rewind button? I want to watch that over again right now. Overall, it's a bona fide masterpiece that I can recommend without hesitation to anyone young and old. Kids can enjoy it, adults can enjoy it, heck, even canines can probably enjoy it to some degree. It's one of Disney's finest features, animated or otherwise, and if you have yet to see it for some reason, what are you waiting for? Get yourself a bowl of popcorn, snuggle up with someone you love, and enjoy a film as beautiful as the night sky. Let's see how well that remake goes, because it has a lot to live up to. Personally, I'm glad I was able to finally look over this movie on this show, even if I now have a hankering for Italian food. Next time on the show, we're going to be continuing the theme of Talking Dog films as I celebrate the 1,000 subscriber milestone on my channel by reviewing 2 of my favorite films of all time. But until then, I'm the Bambi Man reminding you to take care of yourselves, see you at the movies, and have yourself a wonderful Bella Notte. Arrivederci!
What a dog. What a dog. He's a tramp, but they love him. Breaks a new heart every day. He's a tramp, they adore him, and I only hope he'll stay that way. He's a tramp, he's a scoundrel, he's a rounder, he's a cad. He's a tramp, but I love him. Yes, even I have got it pretty bad. You can never tell when he'll show up. He gives you plenty of trouble. I guess he's just a no-count pup, but I wish that he were double. He's a tramp, he's a rover, and there's nothing more to say. If he's a tramp, he's a good one, and I wish that I could travel his way. Wish that I could travel his way. Wish that I could travel his way.
At least I can confirm that it definitely worked for me. Who would have thought that my Mickey Mouse impression would be the way to my Minnie's heart? Ha-ha! Oh boy!
Hi, gals. How's pickings?
Well, find scarce for a sweetheart.
Pretty slim, eh?
Well, maybe they're just trying to protect this... Well, hey, maybe they're just trying to protect this... Well, hey, maybe they're just trying to protect the trees from rose... I cannot get this line out for the life of me, okay?